Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday, November 30th. That's right. Give yourself a pat on the back. You made it to the end of the month. Like, just how awesome is that if you think about it? The end of the month means a lot. It means that the Lakers no longer have to worry about having a bad November. It means that the Knicks are getting ready for their upswing. That's right. I said it, upswing. They're getting ready to go into December off of a fantastic win last night over the Detroit Pistons with Julius Randle dominating. We've got the Golden State Warriors losing to Dallas with Luka going off on another astronomical triple-double. And Norm Powell is serious, y'all. Dead serious. All that and more with some news and notes, some creators of Hoop here on HoopSpaces. We do ask that everybody go ahead and take the time now to like and retweet the show card up there. And ladies and gentlemen, we are back. That is right. The newsletter, the HoopSpaces review, is back after taking the week off to do two things: spend some time with family and try to create a bridge between the website and the newsletter without changing too many things. And I've come to the conclusion that we're going to actually redo the website. It'll be easier to do that and keep the newsletter. So that is also up there. Make sure you subscribe by putting in your email address. It'll get emailed to you. You'll get the recaps, news and notes, HoopSpace creator spotlights. Today, Justin Padden is in there. Shout out also to C. Hendo, who interviewed Michael Parsons of the Dallas Cowboys. All right, we'll be back in 10. Appreciate it. Good morning. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We are back and better than ever. Had some great sleep last night. I hope you slept as well as I did. And I hope that you are not having the weather that I am having. Shout out to everybody down in the South who had to go through the tornadoes in the South, Southeast. We got that front. It's whipping wind out here. It's like 29 degrees. It's cold. If you are in a warm locale, you know what? Congratulations. Shout out to you. Last night, ladies and gentlemen, we had three games, which is rare. Normally, they try to put either two or four. They try to keep it in an even number. Last night, we had the Knicks at the Pistons, the Warriors at the Mavericks, and the Clippers at the Trailblazers. And let me tell you, if you do not like Julius Randle, I understand. If you're a Knicks fan, if you are a non-New York Knickerbocker fan, you should really actually appreciate Julius Randle as a player. He is a fantastic player. He has had a great career. If you think about coming out, being drafted by the Lakers, and missing his rookie year after the first game, he has averaged double figures in every year of his career. He's increased his scoring output where he's now averaging 20 points per game. He has a career average of 18 and 9. I think it's time for a little bit of Julius Randle respect here. Shout out to Julius Randle, who celebrated his birthday last night in a New York Knickerbocker dominating fashion, 140 to 110 over the lowly Detroit Pistons. Julius Randle leading all scorers with 36 points on 14 for 24. He was 6 for 13 from deep, 7 boards, and 5 assists and a steal. And he was plus 36. And this is what I keep trying to tell people. Just because you don't like the aesthetics doesn't mean he isn't a great player. And he is doing phenomenal for the New York Knicks. I just happen to think that his time in New York is done. I think he's a better fit somewhere else. I've already put out a couple of destinations, including the Phoenix Suns and the Dallas Mavericks. I also think he'd be great for the Miami Heat as well. We'll get into that a little bit later. Mitchell Robinson getting back into form after being injured. 6 points on 3 of 6, but he had 13 boards, including 5 offensive rebounds, 2 steals, and a block. And it wasn't so much that he's blocking, because you can see he's still a little bit hesitant coming back to trust his full athleticism. But he provides a unique style of rim protection that just simply cannot be matched by either Isaiah Hartenstein or Jericho Sims. So shout out to him. The trio of guards they ran out with Brunson, Barrett, and Grimes, they combined for 48 points. I get it. A lot of people are thinking that RJ is struggling with his shot. What this is RJ's learning a completely different role. As before Jalen Brunson got there, he was the best guard. And now Jalen Brunson is there as the ball dominant guard. And what RJ Barrett is kind of going through is really trying to learn his new position, which is really going to be the main scorer outside of Julius Randle. If you look how they run the offense, it's Julius. He gets his shots. But RJ is the clear number two. But the difference is he's now the clear number two without the ball in his hand. And I think that is why we see some up and down shooting with him. However, still putting out a plus 32 last night. He had a great game. Quentin Grimes looked alive. He had 16, as I said before. And then every Knick that played except for two scored. And that was a good sign. It was really running and working for New York. The problem that a lot of people say is against the Detroit Pistons, who played without Cade Cunningham. He's now missed 8 games with a shin injury. And I'm telling you now, I'm not expecting Cade to come back anytime soon. I think they're going to slow walk it to make sure that they heal properly, and he has all the time for rehab to strengthen the secondary and tertiary muscles. Because let's be honest, if it's a shin issue, that can develop into something that is unfortunately a regular occurrence. Also, without Jaden Ivey, who injured his knee, it was tough sledding. Killian Hayes got the start, 11 and 6. Marvin Bagley, the third, had 13. Bogdanovich was held to 13 in only 19 minutes. They got away from them really quickly, and Dwayne just kind of pulled him and gave him the night off. Jalen Duren, though, I want to give him a shout out. The rookie, 6 for 7, 12 points, 5 boards. And I'm telling you now, Isaiah Stewart, who had 19 in this game and an atrocious technical foul, has to be worried, because Jalen Duren, for the small minutes he's getting and they're extending him, is doing really well. And like everybody knows, it's only a matter of time. And I think what's happening is we're seeing a lot of frustration bubbling over in Isaiah Stewart's play. And so we might look at Isaiah Stewart as being a candidate to move off of Detroit. And it would work for Detroit anyway, who at 5 and 18 are clear and presently in the Victor Wembanyama Olympics. Also last night, we had the Golden State Warriors and the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks win 116-113. This was a great game. Real good back and forth into the fourth quarter. Steph Curry put up the Warriors, but it came back down. And you know who won the game for the Mavericks? Not Luka. It was THJ. A Tim Hardaway Jr. sighting. Hits a three to put him up, and they never looked back. Of course, the win was powered, though, by Luka Doncic's 41-point triple-double. 41 points, 12 boards, and 12 assists, and some pretty good defense at the very end. And I tell you what, I didn't expect for the Dallas Mavericks to jump out to essentially a 15-point lead at 21-6 within 8 minutes of the first quarter. And they looked like they were going to continue to coast, but then, boom, Steph Curry happened, and that second quarter defense of the Warriors got engaged, and then I knew we are going to be in for a great game. We'll get to Micah and Jose and all of the other Mavs fans who might want to come up to celebrate this win. However, we do want to say this doesn't really hide anything that hasn't already been there. What we saw last night was Tim Hardaway Jr. hitting shots, but there were some other issues that kind of crept in, and one of them is Jason Kidd, and I want your opinion and thoughts on it. We'll get there once we break down the game. Also, last night, to close out, the Portland Trail Blazers hosted the Los Angeles Clippers. And if you remember, we started buying into the Trail Blazers as they were on the top of the Western Conference. But then, unfortunately, Damian Lillard ended up becoming injured again. And they have now sank down to the 7th seed, losing literally like 6 of the last 7. With Dame being out in the majority of those games. Good news from Damian Lillard, though, is he's targeting Sunday, December 4th, for his return. And I remember that because December 4th is my father's birthday, and I still have to buy him a present. So he'll come back. And last night, the Trailblazers, they dominated the game for 3.5 quarters, or maybe 3 quarters in like 1 minute. You had Anthony Simons and Jeremy Grant combining for 69 points. But, in the fourth quarter, Norman Powell decided to put on his big boy pants and literally gave out 22 points in the fourth quarter to just bring the Clippers back essentially on his back with Reggie Jackson. 36-point effort from the Clippers, end up with a 6-point win. And man, I tell you, these Clippers, they're doing it again. If you remember last year, they didn't have Kawhi, they didn't have Paul George, and they were this scrappy team that you didn't know where the points were going to come from, but the points came from somewhere all the time. Ivaka Zubac, another double-double, 12 points, 13 boards. Reggie Jackson, a double-double, 24, 12 assists. Terrence Mann, Marcus Morris, and Coffee got the start. They combined for 27. Robert Covington had 15 off the bench. And we had a rare sighting, ladies and gentlemen. And I think this is going to be an interesting case. Jason Preston, who was a draft pick from last year from Ohio, got some run. And he was a high second-round draft pick. And I actually like him as a long-term project for the Clippers. And if he's going to start getting some run now, I'm kind of excited to see what he might develop into. And if you guys aren't nerds, it's okay. He went to the University of Ohio. They are the Bobcats, and like you never heard of them until now, unless you probably played NCAA football on PlayStation or Xbox. All right, there you go. Those are your scores. There's some news and notes to get to, and I'll get to that now as we wait for more people to pop in. I want to say good morning down below to Justin Padden. I see Rels Pels. Evan is in the building. Jose, King Rose, Scotty, CT Pittman. Carl Anthony Towns has been ruled out 4 to 6 weeks for a calf strain, and they said that there's no structural damage to the Achilles, which is good news. I will say, however, I do not think it'll be 4 weeks. I think it'll be 6, maybe even 7. And I think it's just because of the amount of money and time invested in Cat. It's just better to be safe than sorry. Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan have not spoken to each other in 10 years. That is coming out, ladies and gentlemen, in a story by Taylor Rooks on Bleacher Report. It is absolutely, sad. I wish and I hope that they can move past whatever issues they have, because for me, they are the beginnings of my NBA journey. So hopefully, two of the greats will be able to mend fences. But I'm not counting on it to happen. Like Isaiah Thomas still hasn't spoken with them either. Some weird news out of Chicago. Okay, Billy Donovan signs an extension, and the news is released yesterday. But he signed the extension in the offseason, similarly to signing Zach LaVine. Now, yesterday when the news broke, or when it was finally released, I had said this comment. It really frees up DeMar DeRozan and Nikola Vucevic for a trade. And I'm not backing off of that. If you sign the head coach to an extension and your star player to an extension, then you have to look at who else on the team is getting an extension. And I have yet to really hear any solid negotiations between either Vucevic or DeRozan. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Also, I put out kind of tongue-in-cheek that we could probably expect to see Russell Westbrook and DeMar DeRozan trades. And yes, a Lakers fan actually DM'd me two different trades. So I think we're safe to understand that that's happening. And if you understand the cap situation, DeMar DeRozan makes about 28. Vooch makes 22. That would make it 48. Westbrook makes 47. You can add in Damian Jones and then you get the salary match. Maybe you toss in a pick. I have no idea, but it's absolutely hilarious. And then that would give the Lakers DeMar DeRozan, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis on the books for next year going into the offseason. And that's a pretty daggone good trio. And if they re-sign Vooch, that would give them Vooch at 5, AD at 4. We've seen Vooch be able to spread the floor. DeRozan and LeBron probably share threes and twos. And then all they need to do is get a shooting point guard. So, like, it's there. It's a possibility. It's kind of weird, too. All right. Shout out again to everybody who makes this possible. I ask that you like and retweet the show card. That helps me to grow. And speaking of growing, we are just now days away from hearing whether or not we'll be accepted via the NBA Launchpad program. So I'm kind of excited about that. Would love to be an official partner with the NBA. All right. There we go. Micah is ready to come up. I'm hoping a couple others down below might want to be able to come up and speak. I want to give some hellos while we wait. I see Swish in the building, Kent, the old clam in the mudflats of Portland, Czar, Chris with sports, and Zach, Logan the Foot, Joe the historian. It's good to see everybody this morning. All right, E.K. Johnson, ladies and gentlemen, Coalition Hoops is getting ready to come up as well, and we'll get his thoughts on it. You should check him out also on Instagram. All right, we'll go first to the New York Knicks. We'll lead a little bit here with Knicks, and we'll wait for Sean with the W or said maybe to pop in here. I don't know if anybody watched this game. I did because it was on 1 of 3, and I've always questioned the starting of Quentin Grimes over Cam Reddish. I kind of like Cam's defensive potential, and I like his athleticism, and because I don't think he requires shots. I think he fits very well in between R.J. Barrett and Jalen Brunson. That, and it gives, some umbrage because, let's be honest, even though we all like Jalen Brunson, and if you don't like Jalen Brunson, then, you need help as a basketball fan. He's small. He's 6'1", right? Maybe 6 foot. He's not a dominant defensive presence. And even though Grimes is slightly larger, I think Cam just is a better natural athlete who can also defend better than Quentin Grimes. That's not a knock on Grimes. I think Grimes is actually a very unique prospect to have, and I kind of wish he hadn't gotten hurt early in the season. I remember when he was drafted by the Clippers, I thought it was actually a great pickup because I thought he would be kind of like what Norman Powell is right now. So, yeah, I like him. I just thought defensively that fits. Julius Randle is just an interesting player to me because I understand, again, like I said, why Knicks fans don't like him, but it's because they see him, game in and game out, and he doesn't really necessarily fit the timeline nor the coach's preferred defensive methods, right? Like, he's not a great defensive player, but what he is a great rebounder. He's a great spacer at the floor, and he's a great individual offensive attack dog, right? Like, we keep talking, we want the dog in this guy. Like, Julius will go up against the other team's best player, whether or not it's in, the best interest of the team. But that confidence is valuable, especially if you can team him up with a veteran-laden team where he will fit in and understand that it's not about him. Hence why I said a Phoenix trade is a win-win. You'd get off some salary, you'd get a asset, and you'd be able to play some of the young guys a little bit more. However, that being said, if he stays, I don't think it's the end of the world. I honestly think at that point you have to say Tom Thibodeau needs to go. All right, there we go. That's the Knicks. We'll talk some Knicks for a couple of minutes. We got Micah first. Micah, good morning.
Good morning to you, Chris. And you know what? It's always great to start the morning with some basic truths. I got 4 of them. For you, Chris. First and foremost, it's a great day to talk basketball. Coleslaw is elite. Doc Rivers is a great coach. And Luka Magic, Luka the Don, is really him. Boom! He saw all y'all with your trigger fingers turning into Twitter fingers and said, hold my beer and watch this. Bam! That's how we start the morning, Chris.
All right, appreciate you, Micah. I like it. I like the energy. We'll go next to EK. EK, good morning. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing well, man. How are you? Can you hear me?
I'm yeah, I hear you. I'm doing great. People are finally understanding that Doc Rivers is a great coach, and you will be on that list sooner or later.
I never will. Quick note about Glenn Rivers, right? All the success. I want y'all to remember all the success he's having with all his guys out. I want you to remember this feeling because there will be no excuse when he's sitting on the bench with a blank stare on his face after getting embarrassed in the second round with all three of his guys there. There will be no excuse. So I just want y'all to remember this and keep the same energy. But
You do
let's
realize that there's never an excuse, right? Like there's only
no, I
one
think there are
championship.
reasons.
Like no, there's not like every time the
No, there's
Clippers
legitimate
fail.
reasons though, Chris.
Well,
There's
no,
legitimate
there's no.
reasons why people fail.
But you said you don't want to hear excuses. I'm telling you, there's no excuse. If they don't win, they don't win.
No. You can lose, but then there's losing badly. And we all know Doc Rivers' history, and he has a history of losing badly in an embarrassing fashion when he has talent, right?
Oh, I, I
So
I
let's
didn't
just keep
realize
that.
Doc Rivers was lacing it up and playing.
Oh Lord. Oh Chris. Okay, we'll be here all day. But I want to say
This
good
is
morning
news
to
to me.
everybody. I want to say good morning to everybody. Quick notes about last night. I want to give a big shout out to the men's Marquette basketball team for absolutely destroying Baylor last night, 96-70 in the Big East Big 12 challenge. Uh, just just ramrodding them off the floor. And I also want to bring this up a little bit later when we get into the Mavericks. I feel like every NBA season, there's like a buzzword or a buzz phrase that sort of catches everybody's attention. And I feel like this year's buzzword or buzz phrase is heliocentricity. I feel like that word sparks so much debate and so much conversation amongst the NBA fandom, mainly because we're seeing guys, mainly because of Luka Doncic and what the Mavericks are doing and not doing with him. So I want to get into that a little bit later. And also, 6 months ago, we would have laughed at a Jalen Brunson for Kemba Walker straight up trade. And guess what happened? Exactly that. Good morning, everyone.
You're welcome for the heliocentricity argument because a lot of people kept saying heliocentric, and that would be technically incorrect the way they were using it. So, yes, the heliocentricity effect of Luka Doncic has spurred debate starting here on 77 Spaces with Jose, Rolo, and Jazz, aka Scammer Sultan. Real quick, women's and men's top 25. South Carolina beat UCLA. UCLA is ranked 15. South Carolina is number one, 73-64. Iowa State, they beat Southern Indiana University Edwardsville. Now, I live in Indiana, and I don't know where that school is. Like, I really don't, and I live here. They put up 50 on them, 93-43. LSU beat Southeast Louisiana, and I actually do know where that is, 63-55. On the men's side, you had number one, Houston, continuing to just churn out points. And I'm telling you, they very well may be an undefeated team come tournament time. Like this is not hyperbole. 152 over Norfolk State, and a lot of people are like, "Well, it's Norfolk State." Well, they're 5-3. They're 1-3 on the road. They're undefeated at home, and they actually beaten some good competition. Number three, Virginia ekes out a win, ladies and gentlemen, over Michigan, 70-68. That was part of the ACC Big Ten Challenge. You already heard Marquette beating Baylor, 96-70. Illinois beat Syracuse, 73-44. So let me get my Schadenfreude on. I'm enjoying every Syracuse loss. I do not feel bad for saying that. You are similar to me, like Duke in North Carolina. I can't get enough. Just continue to lose, please. It makes me happy. It brings a smile to my face that I don't have to see Boeheim product just, absolutely muck up a game with a 2-3 zone. Kentucky beat Bellarmine 60-41. Your University of Maryland Terrapins, Fear the Turtle, they are 7-0 and now ranked 22, 79-54 over Louisville, who has like fallen off the wayside, 0-7. San Diego State 72, UC Irvine, the Anteaters 69. And there you go. All right, JB Fortis is also going to come up here on stage. Might have something for Warriors fans to listen to and get upset about. But first, we will move to the Warriors and Mavericks since we have Micah up here. If you want to come up and talk some Warriors and Mavs, go ahead. We'll wait for Sean if he can pop in. He's at work, but he might be able to pop in and talk some Knicks at around the 11 o'clock hour. 116, 113, victory, Dallas over Golden State. Golden State 11-11. Dallas now 10-10. This had a game where Tim Hardaway Jr. flashed what he used to look like. Can he keep it up? Yeah, we don't know. Luka Doncic dominated. He was unstoppable. Steph Curry was completely alone last night, and it showed. We'll go to Micah for his thoughts on the game. Thank you, everybody. Good morning.
Thoughts on the game? Great win. I have an idea what you're talking about with Jason Kidd, and it was on the final minutes of the game whenever Spencer got ejected, and he didn't, and the need of another ball handler, a guy that can dribble, just really showed itself. And but overall, man, it was a great game. It was nice for Tim to actually, remember how to play basketball. But just great plays. Man, I'll tell you what, this was probably my favorite play of the game. Josh Green got closed out on and attacked the closeout, got met by two defenders, and did a spinning 360 kick to the corner to Bertans for the open three. That had to be one of my favorite plays, and it's just he's showing his impact, how his energy just gives another boost to this team. So, hey, shout out to my guy Rolo, man. He's on vacation, having Muay Thais over there on Josh Green Island. He said y'all are welcome to come by. Interest fees have gone up a little bit, because the price of the brick gone up. That's just what it is. So I'm happy for the win. It's just I don't know. It's just what else can we say about Luka Doncic?
Well, I don't know, but we're going to try to find out. E.K. Johnson has some words of praise for Luka, so we're going to go to him next. E.K., go ahead, man. I got your tweet up here from your thoughts of last night. Go ahead.
Hey, can you hear me, Chris?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so regarding last night, obviously there were only 3 games, and obviously I think the game that everybody wants to talk about is Dallas and Golden State for obvious reasons, right? But I think the Golden State game and the Knicks game against the Detroit Pistons they're tethered together. I was watching highlights of the Knicks game while watching the fourth quarter of the Dallas game, and I couldn't help but think, man, the Dallas front office, I mean, I understand why Mavericks fans have been calling for Luka to get help, I understand why they're frustrated. Because you let a guy who can create, who was on his ascension up, when you look at the playoffs, this past year's playoffs, what he was able to do, you let him walk for nothing. In exchange, you end up getting a guy in Kemba Walker who, if we would have posed the question 6 months ago, it wouldn't have been like, no, everybody would have laughed out the building, right? So the fact that that happened, combined with how they played last night, when Spencer Dinwiddie unfairly got ejected, that wasn't a flagrant 2. Anybody who says it's a flagrant 2 is ridiculous. It wasn't a flagrant 2 last night. It was a flagrant 1. He got unfairly ejected, and right after that, there were 3 straight possessions where they struggled to get the ball across half court. These are professionals, Chris. 3 straight possessions, you struggle to get the ball past half court. Luka's got to come in at the 9-minute mark, and he plays the rest of the game. And luckily for them, he played right. But still, I was looking at that and I was like, wow, they could probably use a point guard right now. They could probably use a guy like Jalen Brunson right now, but in fashion, because he'd rather be crying about people advertising Golden State Warriors paraphernalia on Shark Tank and drinking milkshakes and all that other type of crap instead of running the basketball team. This is what you've got. And I'm a Houston fan, and I don't and there's no love lost between Houston and the Mavericks, but I think trauma bonding is important. And we've been victims of bad GM stuff before, so I feel for them and I feel for Luca.
Man, give him a funk flex bomb, trauma bonding. As a vet who's led groups, yeah, trauma bonding is important. Look at that. All you Mavs fans down below and out there, if you ever thought you would hear such glowing support from a Rockets fan, like that is amazing. Everybody give him a round of applause. All right, Joe the historian. Did you catch the game last night between the Dallas Mavericks and the Golden State Warriors?
I did not, but I saw the highlights and saying yeah, like it's crazy how these teams, especially I've seen on my team too, how they don't look like they know how to play basketball when their best players out the game. Like you say, like the 9 minute mark, Luka had to come in, and then like on the other side, saying it's like Steph playing with G League players when they saying and stuff like that, and the same thing happens on my team with KD. Saying like they forget low IQ plays and stuff like that when the stars are out. It's ridiculous. But my thing is that I wanted to say thank you to Chris because I met this guy when you let me speak, saying a couple months ago up here, and he made me a bet yesterday. He just paid $200 that I have, saying a good weekend with all my teams.
Keep going.
Oh, what I had? Okay, I had we had a bet that all my teams will lose this weekend, and he gave me 2 out of 3 with Brooklyn, but actually all my teams won. And, saying won $200, but I met him up here, so I had to say thank you for that. And then I saw him having a good morning, and then I see you are with this Prince propaganda on the day the anniversary of the Michael Jackson Thriller album. Are you serious, Chris? You are really stretching our friendship. That is not right.
Hey, look, I'm sorry, but like I've got to be honest, and honesty is key. Prince is better. It's that simple. It's that simple. All right, we've got a Warriors rant going on with JB Fortis, host of NBA Now, NFL Now. You can catch it 8 a.m. here on Twitter Spaces. Hear him yell into the wind for some Twitter therapy. Hop in and talk all things sports from a particular state of mind. JB, good morning. How you doing?
I'm good. I wanted to tell EK that I really, it might have been Micah, I'm sorry, but I think Micah, the Mavs fan who talked about trauma bonding, it might have been EK. Who said that about the
It was
trauma bonding?
EK.
It was EK. That's what I thought it was. And I want to tell him that he's going to have company this year in the trauma bonding in the form of Warriors fans. The Warriors are 11-11, and there is enough evidence to know that they are a strong defensive team and that when they're firing on all cylinders, they're absolutely awesome. However, in this 4-game streak in which the Warriors won 3, only one time did they shoot above 40% from 3-point land, which is what they're going to need to hang with this new scoring explosion that is happening all across the NBA. The Warriors in this game shot better than the Mavs, but yet from 3, they only hit 25.6%. That's not going to cut it in the Western Conference playoffs. Additionally, this whole 2 timeline thing, right, where we're on 2 tracks that I've been hearing about for the better part of 2 years, James Wiseman's in the G League. Moses Moody during this 4-game streak, 3 of which were wins, played 8 minutes, grand total. That leaves Kuminga, and Kuminga is barely playing with the second stringers. So what you're really looking at is you're looking at a Jordan Poole who has been shaky at best. Like, and what a Warriors fan will tell you is that Jordan Poole has been streaky, and that we should have known that going in. But what I'm here to tell you is that it's not really streaky. That it's more like shaky, because even though he's willing to give you 24, 4 and 6, one night, and 19, 4 and 6 in that amazing win against the Jazz where they really did they just cooked him. That unless he's playing against somebody who's just unless he's playing against someone you can hide him on in terms of defense, that he's going to be a liability. And they have way too much on Steph Curry's shoulders, as Chris already alluded to, which means that Draymond and Andrew Wiggins and Kevon Looney have to sort of stay out there just to keep the offense humming. The moment Steph Curry sits, this team plummets like a rock, both defensively and offensively. They're the 10 seed today, and I honestly think, I think that they're in trouble, and it makes you wonder, or at least it makes me wonder, if you're not going to trust the kids if you're not going to trust them, if you're not going to let them be your support, and you're going to leave them on the bench and just completely disregard the second timeline, then why not make a run? Trade these kids for veterans, or go the other way. But at the moment, it sure seems like, why not pay Draymond? Why not maximize this run and try and get to an NBA championship? I don't think that this team is a NBA championship contender. And what's more, I don't think they have a second track. And that's the sort of hot take you're going to get from me, is that I don't think there is two tracks. I think there's one track. And they wanted you to believe there was a second track. But in actuality, they're not committed to that second track either. The young players don't play. So if you're not going to do that, if you're not going to play the young guys, then why bother having them on the roster in the first place? Trade for the Jeremy Grants of the world. Trade for the veterans on Utah, and build yourself a bench so that you can contend and get a world championship right now. But whatever they're doing right now, they are 11-11. They are the 10th. They are the 10th seed. And the truth is that if we get to the end of the year and it comes down to tiebreakers, the Mavericks are already one up on them. Thanks, Chris, for the space.
Man, absolutely. Good points too with that tiebreaker. That's gonna kill, because you know who had that problem? The Brooklyn Nets kind of had that problem, right? And they were worried
just last year. Sorry.
Yeah, just last year. They were worried, and they were down on all the tiebreakers. And if they got too, oh man, could you imagine? Because where they're at right now in the standings, they could be fighting if they don't get better for 9th or 10th. And it could come down to them in Sacramento, and Sacramento has the tiebreaker. Oh, brutal.
They need to go to slamgoods.com and get 15% off using the code HoopSpaces, and just trade for Eric Gordon off of the Houston Rockets. They could trade off of any of these veterans if they want to try and go get a DeMar DeRozan or a Zach LaVine off of the Bulls. Any of these people, but it might be time to just get rid of this second track, man. However you want to do it.
All right, man. There you go, ladies.
To take Eric Gordon, they're more stupid than I would think. Eric Gordon is worth $900,000, let alone $19 million. It's ridiculous. Sorry.
JB Ford is taking the Warriors down and setting me up perfectly for the segue here for our first read. Welcome everybody to Hoop Spaces. Happy Wednesday. Hopefully you're enjoying your hump day. And for every day that you come in here, I want to say thank you. We are brought to you by some fantastic sponsors, that being the aforementioned slamgoods.com. Head over to slamgoods.com now and go ahead and pre-order one of these Funko Pop specially made for Slam, and save 15%. Or do yourself even another solid and go pick up one of the Rewind series. Might I suggest Kevin Garnett? That's right. They have it back in stock. You can relive Kevin Garnett's ascension as a Minnesota Timberwolf with one of those collector editions that are on sale too, if I remember correctly, for almost $10. Use promo code HoopSpaces, save 15% on your entire purchase, and make sure you check out the pickup card game. It's $25, and I'm telling you now, when you have your family get-togethers, if they are basketball fans and you are watching basketball on Christmas, you should be playing pickup why you're playing basketball or watching basketball. It's literally like Uno, right? And I actually had my family play a little bit on Thanksgiving, and it worked out. It took them a couple of hands, but they got the hold of they got a hold of it, got the hang of it, and it was actually a good time. So check out the pickup card game over on slamgoods.com. Use promo code HoopSpaces, save 15%. And if you miss any part of the show, head over to YouTube, where we are powered by audiolabs.io. And also, they're going to be helping us start to deliver YouTube shorts and TikTok content as well. So shout out to them over on YouTube, audiolabs.io, one of your creators' best friends to help expand your content. All right, we've got JB Fortis, Evan Townsend, the Project Spurs, Micah, Joe, the historian, and EK Johnson up here on stage. I want to give a shout out to Nat, the GM, who is just chomping at the bit as we get closer and closer to the trade season. You're going to want to stop by So You Think You're a GM, the NBA's best game show, to see how bad of a fan you really are because you think you know it all. Come through on a Saturday afternoon and prove how bad a GM you can be, because the loser's going to get clowned. I'm not going to lie. And the winner gets a prize. Like, if you think you're really good at this, why don't you just show up to get the prize? That's what I would tell you to do, because, like, hey, we're here for it. All right, still talking Golden State Warriors, Dallas Mavericks. We will go to Evan Townsend. Evan, good morning.
Good morning, Chris. Good morning, everybody. So I actually went to the game last night, and it was crazy. It was actually, really interesting to see how many Warriors fans travel and just around in general. Half the stadium was in Luka jerseys. Half the stadium was in some Warriors jerseys. It was pretty crazy to see. But overall, just alluding to a couple points that people were mentioning earlier, both teams need to make trades sooner rather than later. The Warriors' rotation was just so out of whack. Kevon Looney, I think it was like, 15, 16 minutes top of my head. James Wiseman is 0. He's not in Santa Cruz anymore. He's back. Unplayable. A lot of the rookies are unplayable. Anthony Lamb is getting minutes, which is kind of, okay. Got that charge on Christian Wood, which is clutch, right? But at the end of the day, if they were to have a Jake Crowder, I'm trying to think of other power forwards that could be available. You're looking at the Warriors being 10, 11 deep, and their first 5 is pretty damn good. The plus minus is, I think, top 3 at the top of my head. It was first, if not last week. And this second unit is just so bad. Jordan Poole shoot himself in the foot multiple times, dribbling out of bounds. This careless mistakes that, it's you just hope that somebody wouldn't make for someone that's supposed to be your 6th man of the year candidate, or supposed to be your second unit player. But they need help. And the Mavericks, it's just the Luka show. They live and die with Luka. And if he gets shut down, this dribble drive gets cut off. It's an overhead pass to someone that's wide open. It's a scoop pass to someone to Tim Hardaway Jr. in the corner, Josh Green in the corner, and it's money. It's cush. But they need to trade Dwight Powell. They need to get another rim protector that's not JaVale McGee. And yeah, we'll see what happens. The thing is, alluding to a lot of points that, Austin, the fadeaway, was talking about in a lot of Spurs spaces. You have to make these trades sooner rather than later before somebody beats you to the punch. We see all these rumors that, the John Collins of the world are back on the trade market. I've heard like Jackson Hayes' name get brought up. He's out of the rotation of the Pelicans. That's the rim protector for a second unit team. Somebody like that. And that's the 3-team packages that we could be talking about. But I'm not good with that. I can't come up with some on top of my head. But we'll see. And that's all I got.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. In fact, like earlier this month on the 8th, I'm going to put that up there. I said the Heat, Mavs, and Sixers need to seriously take a look at any of these 3 players, and you can even add the Warriors now into this mix, right? Mo Bamba, Jackson Hayes, Mike Muscala. Mike Muscala is currently injured. He'll come back in a week or so in Oklahoma City. But you have Mo Bamba, who's basically been supplanted by Bobo, right? So now you've got Bobo, Wendell Carter Jr., Paulo Banchero, Franz Wagner, and then, like, they're bad. They're going to get one of these players, and I don't think they're going to get Scoot, so they're going to end up either getting, like, Victor Wembanyama or one of the other 3 forwards who are in the top 5, And then all of a sudden, Mo Bamba's he's just a dude. And then you still have what's his name coming back? Oof.
Jonathan Isaac, Chris.
Thank you, Jonathan Isaac. For some reason, I wanted to say Isaac Turner. I don't know why. Jonathan Isaac coming back, so like he's going to be this odd man out, and like he's going to be available for probably a pick, a first that conveys into a second, and maybe another young player, and he would fit phenomenally in those. I see your hand up there, JB. We'll go next to you, and then we got Akil also up on stage. Thank you, everybody. Good morning.
Oh, I just had a question, Chris, about these trade ideas that you were proposing. Is James Wiseman available for like J.K. Davidson and I don't know, some magic beans?
I actually don't think Wiseman's available. I don't. There'll be a lot of ego in this decision, but like front offices don't like to lose, right? And if they were to move off him, that's a loss. And Golden State definitely doesn't like to lose. And like even earlier this season, I saw signs and flashes that I'm like, yo, if they can get him into a pick and roll, dude would walk off the bench with 13-8, and he would be phenomenal. But they don't do it because that's not their offense.
But Chris, there's only one way to lose every single time, no matter what you're doing, and that is to not even play. And right now, he's not even playing. And you could say, well, he didn't play last year because he was injured. And now you can say, well, he's not playing at all because he's in the G League. So whether their front office doesn't like to lose or not, it sort of doesn't make a difference. He's not even playing, right? So at least get somebody who you can put on the floor. Now, I may be making a joke with J.K. Davidson, but I might not be making such a joke with Mo Bamba. I might not be making such a joke with Mike Muscala. I might not be making a joke if I were to give a rotation player, right? And that might be what the Warriors need. I mean, guy number 7, whichever forward you sort of want to add, anybody to back up Andrew Wiggins and Klay Thompson and take the burden off of them. That's what I see. Maybe
that's a fair point.
Back up Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson needs to play first before he can get a backup. Jesus Christ.
Well, he came and he had a good game, and like that's the thing, Akil, is he is playing. He's just not playing the way Klay Thompson is used to be known as playing.
He's not good at hoop anymore, man. It's tough, but
how's he not good?
He's cooked.
How's he cooked?
Say about him for a minute.
He's shooting 39% from deep,
brother. He was playing. That just went up to 39 in the past 5 games when they played like really, really bad teams. Like
no, he didn't shoot up that much. Like it's been
like a ton from like
it shot up like a whole 1.8%.
He was not like a third. All right, man. Let me look it up. Actually, I can figure out the splits very easily.
Yeah, like last year, before the injury, he shot 38.5. Now he's shooting 39%, almost on the nose. Like hey, I don't want to. Yeah, what's up?
No, I'm sorry. To be fair, Klay Thompson's first good game was against the lowly garbage dumpster fire that is my Houston Rockets. So we really can count that. Let's just count that. I understand he had 41, but my high school team could probably beat this damn team right now. Let's just not count that. That's all I want to say.
I get what I know he's not the same. I'm not saying he's the same, but what I'm saying is he's not washed.
He's just really streaky. Like last night when it was an offensive foul on, I forgot who it was, on a moving screen. He knocked down a wide open 3 and then a mid range. But before that, he had only 2 points going into the fourth quarter. And the second and third, he just was not hitting anything in motion. He wasn't even getting good looks, and he was getting really frustrated coming back to the bench, not shaking anyone's hand. So I'm kind of alluding to Akil. He kind of knows this time is kind of surpassed. He's solidified. He's not going to be the second scoring threat. He's just trying to get some wide open corner threes, and he has to hit them though. So yeah.
Would you go out Cousins?
Say that again.
If you're the Warriors, would you go out and sign Boogie Cousins right now?
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
Like he's not only got experience with them, but when Kevon Looney leaves the floor after his precious 16 minutes, they don't rebound the way they need to, or at least bad.
I love Boogie. I don't think Boogie's helping them. You know,
and yeah, when Luka can get in the paint, it's almost a wrap because he can find his shooters in the corner and they can knock down their threes. So Tim Hardaway, Christian Wood, Bertans, they're shooting really well this year. So yeah, that they definitely need a rim protector, as in the Warriors. It's somebody that can stay on the floor and just do Yusuf Nurkic type of work, just basic screens, roll, and just be a guy. Like, you don't have to be a threat. You don't have to knock down floaters, Jakob Poeltl. So we'll see.
But then, like, this is the thing. Even if the Warriors get Jakob Poeltl, and he's like the dream Kerr center, right? He's like a good passer. Like, he can rebound, he can set screens, he can do all that stuff. Like, what do the Spurs get back for that? Where they're like, yeah, sure, we'll send out Jakob that they like.
They would take probably either Moody and Kuminga in the first.
Yes.
Do they have
they put out a gauntlet where they're saying we want 2 firsts for Jakob Poeltl because they see Rudy Gobert get 4, but like they also understand the market correction happened. Everybody's seen what's happened in Minnesota. Ain't nobody trying to give up 2 picks for Jakob Poeltl. Like, despite him being a great player and fitting in for like 5 contenders, they're not going to do it. But they would give up a first and a young player. They got no problem doing that.
Yeah, I think more than anything when it comes to the Warriors this year, they're in a spot for me where like they have 6 dudes that they feel comfortable playing, but then they have like 5 dudes that they like just have to play, and they're like, all right, man, like we just have to hopefully like not stink in these minutes. Like
I don't see that. I just see missed shots, man, from 2 dudes.
A lot of their dudes are bad, man. Like Moses isn't bad. Like he's not even in the rotation now. Like,
but are you going to play him over Wiggins?
Is a guy. Anthony Lamb is a dude that they picked up off the streets, and he's closing basketball games for them.
Well, that's because he's playing a forward position, not a guard. Like, if you put in Moody, are you taking out Wiggins? Are you taking out Curry? Like, who you got? You're going to put him in over
Moody next to Wiggs.
Well, and then where's Poole's minute going to go? Like, I mean, like that's the problem. Is they have 3.
Like, Poole isn't closing basketball games anyways for them.
Well, I know, but neither is Moody. Yeah, neither is Moody. So either you give Moody Poole minutes or you give Moody Wiggins minutes, but you're not going to, because in your mind, Wiggins and Poole are better.
Okay, I guess. But like,
I mean, like they shared 54 minutes, right?
Yeah, there's only so much minutes to go around. That is fine, I guess. Like, if that's what we're doing, but like, I don't know, man. Like, I hate a lot of their roster. Like, outside of their starters, like when those 5 dudes just aren't playing, it's just like clearly not good. Like, it is clearly not basketball going on there.
The one thing that really does concern me, and I said this, I thought Dante DiVincenzo was going to be that guy, and he is not, since coming back from injury. Appeared to be the answer that I thought he was going to be as the backup point guard.
JaMychal Green too. Like, I thought JaMychal Green was good, but he's not good either. So
he's he was tailing off in Denver last year. And next year I can see them signing Jeff Green and the same thing happen all over again. Dama, what's up, man? Good morning. How you doing? Oh man, he got that Verizon. Yeah.
Oh, damn it! My bad, man. I wanted to ask, can you walk me back through the Jakob Poeltl trade, please?
Yeah. So in the beginning and even in the off season, it was 2 first rounders, but like that's just not going to happen. The market corrections kind of sat in because of what happened with Minnesota and the Gobert trade. So like eventually, I think what'll happen is they'll move off of the 2 first rounders, get a first round with the better, like less protection, so it's better favored for them, as well as a young player under 2 or 3 years of control, right? So if you look at Toronto, Golden State, Miami, Dallas, Portland.
Okay, so we're not trading Jakob to Dallas out of pure spite. In Toronto,
No. It would be a legit deal where the San Antonio Spurs would net a clean and free draft pick and either a young controllable asset to aid in rebuilding or to actually trade again. Someone like Moody, it wouldn't be Wiseman because he's at the end of his deal, but Kuminga, Moody. I doubt they move off of Shaden Sharp in Portland. But maybe if Philadelphia moves off of Jaden Springer in a first, there's different things. Brooklyn would be a great pick too as well. But no, not out of spite.
Evan, how you feel about Kuminga and Roger?
Kaminga kind of, I don't want to say he locked up Luka, but he slowed him down multiple times. Was getting really frustrated, and the Spurs definitely can replace Keita Bates-Diop with Jonathan Kuminga. So that's no issue. Down to it, Ryan Rollins, Patrick Baldwin Jr., two studs and an unprotected first or a second. That could also be a move because, we don't have a backup point guard. When Trey Jones is out, it's the Josh Richardson and Keldon Johnson point forward show. Like that's bad. That's not good. Jeremy Sohan, rookie, running against Steph Curry. Yeah, 4 turnovers in the first quarter. Ugh. Anyways, yeah, it could be any like you said, Jaden Springer, anyone from the Heat, Peyton Pritchard. I was looking at from the Celtics a while ago. But yeah, it's really looking bad. But for the Spurs as of now,
Whoa. It's not to say bad.
It's good, but it's bad.
It's looking bad. It's looking very bad. Like it's bad.
Man, we played a lot of tough teams over the last 2 weeks. Right?
Nah. It's bad.
You want to know a fact, Damo?
What's up?
We've led only 34 minutes.
Why?
In the past 3 weeks.
All I'm saying is we played some excellent basketball teams over the last couple weeks. The only team I think that I'm ashamed we lost to was the Lakers because they're some butt cheeks. Outside of that, we played good basketball games.
You've lost 8 straight. You're 1-9 in your last 10. What are you talking about? Good basketball.
Well, I'm saying we haven't had a chance to beat up on Houston or any Eastern Conference teams for the last couple of weeks. Let me get this run where I can beat up on the Knicks. Okay, that's what
you beat the Bucks, but here you go. All right, this is the truth. I'm going to count this out for you, Damo. Backwards. Lakers. L L L L L L L L W L L L L L.
This is being recorded?
Yeah.
This is crazy. This is where Apple's going to take this app off the App Store. This right here. Exactly.
Joe the historian, hop up in here and save Damo from the truth of the San Antonio Spurs becoming the worst team in the league. L.
Yeah.
I left one out.
Yeah. That's the truth. Sorry, Damo. But my question is, since JB left, it was for him, but I'll give it to you, Chris. Like the 2 Western Conference teams that was in the Western Conference last year are both 500 right now. With the right trade, which one do you think could turn it around?
It would be far easier for the Golden State Warriors to turn around than the Dallas Mavericks. It's just because they have more tradable assets. And to be honest, I think they have the second best player. Okay. So if you look up there, I have the new HoopSpaces top 5. It's based off of production. So they have the best player in Luka. Golden State has the second best player in Steph. I think it's kind of a wash. It's really close. What puts Luka over is the rebounding and double-doubles as well as his home-away split, right? But I think next is Wiggins, and then I still think next is actually Draymond Green. And then if Clay is actually hitting or Poole is hitting, I still have them over Christian Wood. So then that puts Christian Wood like at number 5, right? And if you go in playing the Warriors in this game of who can be better, if you have 3 of the top 5, it just makes it easier, right? So they make one trade like to get Jakob Poeltl. They move Kevon Looney to the bench. Jakob Poeltl eats 28 minutes. gives you 10, 10, and 2 blocks, and then everything is gravy again because you've got Draymond Green being able to go back to the role he wants to play. You've got Steph running around everywhere, crazy like Klay Thompson on the wing or the corner, and then Andrew Wiggins has all that room to run in to do dunks and finishes. And then if it breaks down or you want to throw in a hiccup, you roll a Jordan Poole or Steph Curry pick and roll with Jakob Poeltl, and then at that point, you've got an offensive system that plays 3 levels. So to me, Golden State Warriors way easier fix. There you go.
Okay, so my other question is that, okay, do you see Luka leaving?
No, not yet.
God, can we stop doing this?
No. Why would he? He just got to the Western Conference Finals. They're having a disappointing first 20 games. Like, it would take a couple of years of frustrated losing, I think, to push him out the door. If he really wanted to leave, like, we would have heard it during the contract negotiation for his second contract. Because, of course, they signed the contract with their home team because they paid them the most, but then they end up getting traded because they're not happy. And I've not heard anything like that. We've got Jose up here.
I didn't mean this year. I just meant, like, saying the foreseeable future, because you said, like, you don't think to turn it around.
Well, I go year by year. You can't. I don't project because, like, they could bottom out this year and go 30-52, but then rebound next year and go 50-32 and make the finals, right? Like, they are the preeminent hot and cold team. If they are hot, they are hard to beat. If they are cold, they shoot themselves out the building. That's just how they built the roster around Luka. And to speak on that, we have Jose, leader of 77 Spaces. Jose, good morning.
Good morning, Chris. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Already. So last night was an amazing game between the Mavs and the Golden State Warriors. You said THJ was the reason why the Mavs won, and I just want to say Josh Green only had 13 points, but Josh Green made a driving layup with 1 minute and 23 seconds left to basically put the Mavs ahead. And Josh Green also caught a catch and shoot three from Luca to also it was earlier in the fourth, but it was just another big time moment for Josh Green, a guy who was basically left in the corner throughout the Golden State Warriors series to come back and do this year, where he's able to shoot them threes, drive into the basket with no hesitation, just absolute confidence in his game. I love to see this development. And I think this is the reason why the Mavs won. I think THJ hitting his shots was pivotal to the Mavs' success last night. But I also think, I mean, it's THJ. You're gonna get a roulette of games where he's gonna either shoot 5 of 5, 5 of 8, or you're gonna get 1 of 9, 0 of 9, or you're gonna get 1 of 7. Like, there is no real in between. And last night we just hit on the perfect night for THJ to actually hit shots. Christian Wood struggled offensively, but defensively he was actually making some really good plays. I think what a lot of people don't understand is that when you have Spencer Dinwiddie, who's not a traditional playmaker, or he's not the best playmaker at the guard position, you can't have Christian Wood, who's also an offensive monster, with Spencer Dinwiddie, who is just not really capable of making those entry passes or just making those passes that gets Christian Wood absolutely wide open. I think Christian Wood was forcing it offensively, but I think the big takeaway from Christian Wood's game last night was just the plays that he was able to make defensively and just staying in front of his man. Uh, I also want to give a credit to Dorian Finney-Smith just for playing, trying to make something happen. Didn't have a lot going for him last night, but he made some things happen. I think he should have taken that layup with 7 seconds left, but he chose to try to run it out and, and go to the free throw line, made one and missed, and then that gave the Warriors the opportunity to get Klay Thompson out in the open for that three. He just missed it. But overall, you alluded to there's some problems. Of course, I mean there's gonna be problems early in the season, and I think uh, most people who are watching these Dallas Mavericks games nationally need to understand that this is not Luca's fault, and this roster is dictates how Luca plays. I mean, you get Spencer Dinwiddie, who basically gets ejected in the fourth quarter, like a minute and 34 seconds in the first quarter, and you see a minute and 30 seconds without Luca or Dinwiddie on the court, and you're relying on Josh Green. I think he threw out Reggie Bullock, THJ Wood, and even Maxey. All guys who cannot really dribble or create for themselves, and yet some people are still peddling the same narratives of that Luca is selfish. Luca is gonna play this way because bro, look at the damn tape. There is multiple instances this season where if you don't have Luca or Dinwiddie out on the damn court, this offense is a travesty.
Bro, that clip, that sort when when Luca had to sit out after Spencer got that second flagrant, Christian Wood dribbling the basketball up the court literally looked like Stanley from The Office. It was hilarious, bro. It was,
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's pretty
That
bad.
that's my gripe when people have these posts or get up on stages and make it seem like this is a detriment to what Luca is doing wrong. I agree that Luca should be held accountable for not playing off ball, but who the hell is he gonna play off ball of? Who the hell is running this
he
offense?
posted, bro. We talked about this. JaVale McGee.
But it's just like, please stop. I want to have genuine basketball conversations. And when you see KP put up 41 points, know that he's not the second option in Washington. Know that JB is succeeding because he's actually having the ball in his hand a little bit more. He's able to control the offense. And also, Luca let Jalen Brunson cook. Luca let Spencer Dinwiddie cook. And if you watch Eurobasket, there was times where Luca just let Dragic run the show. Luca is a team player. It's just you have to have the right pieces around him in order to get that team basketball. I mean, it's beyond me to sit down here every day and listen to the basketball discourse of this player is only succeeding because he has such and such, but this player is not succeeding and it's all his fault. It never ceases to amaze me how the goal post is moved. So I'm glad I'm using my lunchtime, not even fucking eating, but to get up here on stage and hopefully give some realization and give y'all some clarity of the Dallas Mavericks situation. Yeah, letting Jalen Brunson walk hurt the Mavs. Yes, we could all agree, but it's in the season now. That was an off-season talking point that we hammered home on 77 Spaces. That if you listen to Dallas Mavericks podcast, that this is a talking point throughout the entirety of the off season. Again, uh, it's low hanging fruit for some people to come into the season and be like, oh, well, Jalen Brunson, Jalen. Okay, bro, we had this discourse. We know what it is. Now the problem is the front office, Mark Cuban, Jason Kidd, Nico Harrison need to figure out what the hell they're gonna do. And I don't think Kimball Walker is the end all be all, but hey, you're getting a guy who could at least create their own shot. You're getting a guy who could shoot from three at I think 40% was the last time I had looked. I don't expect him to make the biggest impact. I want him to make a marginal impact to steady the ship whenever Luca or Spencer is not on the court. Because as y'all seen last night, and as y'all seen against the Boston Celtics, because I'm pretty sure y'all do not watch Mavs games unless they're on national TV, that Without those two guys on the court, this offense is a travesty. I rest my case. Thank you, Chris, for bringing me up, and I can't wait to see Detroit Thursday, and I damn sure can't wait to see the New York Knicks on Saturday morning.
So Luka Doncic took 27 shots last night. Do you want to know who took the second most shots in the game? Anybody want to guess?
I really think it's Christian Wood or THJ, one of the two.
Steph Curry with 24.
Oh, I thought you meant on the Mavs. My bad.
Nope, just shots.
Well, yeah, of course it's Steph.
So like to Jose's point, like it's funny how because Golden State has a history of winning and Dallas does not with Luka, that nobody is making the same complaints or arguments about Seth Curry. I mean, we just talked about the Warriors and said it was a whole bunch of other people's fault. But if you look at what Curry did, it's very similar to what Luka's done, taking the bulwark of the shots, which means at least a quarter, 25%. He's on the usage rate, which is at least a third, right? Near a third. So, like, why aren't we saying the same about Curry? And it's really just because they have a history of winning. He makes these cool shots, and people like him. They don't like Mark Cuban, and they don't like Luka. And then some just don't like Luka. And whether you want to admit it or not, it's the truth. We'll go to EK first. EK, what's up?
Yeah, man. Jose, first of all, brother, I agree with everything you said. I totally agree with everything you said. I sort of wanted to piggyback off of your point though, just regarding the talk around Luca and how he doesn't make his teammates better and how he's heliocentric. I think there are two types of heliocentric basketball, and I've seen this comparison a lot, and I think it's and I think it's misguided. And it's the James Harden comparison to Luca. The difference is that for people who paid attention, when we first got James Harden from Oklahoma City, that first year under Kevin McHale, James Harden was not the James Harden of the Mike D'Antoni 7 seconds or less offense. He was moving off the ball. He was scoring off the ball. Right? He was a lot more fluid in his movement. He wasn't dribbling the ball, pounding the ball for 90% of the shot clock and then forcing up a shot or step back three or trying to get or being a free throw merchant trying to get to the line. He played a lot more smoother and he played within an offense, right? I think for Luca, because of the fact that you guys really don't have anybody else around that has the ability to knock down threes consistently like a Reggie Bullock or Dorian Finney-Smith, and also their defense has the 3 and D guys that you guys traditionally have had. They haven't been able to fulfill that role consistently this year, which has led to some of the ups and downs of this year. Now, when you combine that with the fact that you have Mark Cuban, who to me is a spectacle of an owner at this point, and Jason Kidd, who he was great as a player, but Lord Jesus, I don't think he knows what he's doing as a coach. I mean, he had a
Definitely
quote.
doesn't have that Doc Rivers greatness.
Well, Jason Kidd had a quote about Jaden Hardy, the guy who just damn near averaged 30 in the G League, getting called up after a G League stint. You know what he said? Hopefully he gets an opportunity to play. I mean, this is who you're dealing with, right? I mean, it's like it's like he's purposely trying to sabotage your own team. I don't know if he's trying to get fired. I don't know what he's doing. But when you say stuff like that, you combine that with an owner and a GM who clearly doesn't have the ability to either pay people or fit people into a system around a guy who has the ability to play off ball. Mind you, Luka comes from the Euro style basketball. Euro League basketball isn't heliocentric. It's player movement, it's ball movement. He comes from that. That's his foundation. So to act like he doesn't have the ability to do it or act like he just doesn't want to do it because he wants to get his numbers, it's stupid to me. It's actually
All
it's,
right.
it's actually stupid. So I agree with you, Jose. Like I said, trauma bonded my brother. You guys are gonna get through it, and if you don't, well, sorry.
All right, welcome to hour two. A little bit behind schedule for the read, but that's just because we have a good convo going on about Luca. Brought to you today by SlamGoods.com. Head over to SlamGoods.com. I'm going to get a tweet up there to show you something else that they have that you can save 15% off if you use promo code HoopSpaces. That's it. That's all you got to do. Go to SlamGoods.com. It's a website. Just type it into your Google machine and get the latest on apparel and collectibles. Shout outs down below. I see Josh Rodriguez at the Dime in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Check out the Dime on the Ball is Life Network. You got to come through. I was on there a couple of times. Great podcast, easy, laid back, fun, and for me, I get to make fun of teams using food, and it's dope. So check that out. Put it on your regular rotation. Jasmine is in the building. All right, Harper XX Wrights covering the WNBA, the Dallas Wings for Winsider. That's at Winsider. Make sure you check her out as we get ready for the WNBA draft, getting ready to come up before you know it. Down below, let's see. Let's get a shout out to Salem. What's up, Salem? Thank you for coming through and finding us here. We appreciate it. And for all of you who are watching the World Cup, yes, Team USA, the United States men's national team, defeated Iran 1-0. No, I did not partake in the over exuberant celebration. I am happy they won. It didn't mean anything. Now we're in the knockout stage. Now I care. Now I care. So if you are a World Cup fan and you're a soccer fan and you want to go ahead and express your admiration for the men's national team, go ahead. But just remember, the women's team is better. Brought to you by slamgoods.com. Save 15% using promo code HoopSpaces. All right, top 5. That's right. We have a new top 5, ladies and gentlemen. Luka Doncic, number 1. Number 2, Jason Tatum. Number 3, Tyrese Halliburton. Number 4, Steph Curry. Number 5, Anthony Davis. Your new HoopSpaces top 5. What do you guys think? We'll go around the horn after we go to Akil, who for some reason probably still wants to add on something to the Mavs, even though we're beating a dead horse now.
No, I just have to say one little quick thing. I did the math because I knew I wasn't tripping. Klay Thompson, his first 12 games this year had 35-33 splits. And his last 6 games, he bumped up to 50 and 51. So he got gassed.
Well, yeah, but if you gradient up, which is what you do, he didn't rock it up. He just simply moved up the bell curve.
Okay, but yeah. Anyways, how is Giannis not on your list?
Because he's not.
But like, why? What's the reasoning?
Because he's not. Okay. So a lot of people are wondering how this list comes about, right? And it comes about through production, right? Not about who you are as a player in the standing against, every other player, but what you've actually produced on the basketball court, right? And although Giannis is phenomenal, we all understand this. He's missed a couple of games. He's in my top 10. But because he's missed a couple of games, he just doesn't have the same overall production as the 5 that I mentioned. And yes, even Anthony Davis, who's missed games, still has outproduced. Even Nikola Jokic, who would probably be in the top 3 if he just shot the ball more. Like, that's Jokic's fault. He just doesn't want to do what we want him to do, because he could literally go out there and probably average 30, 10, and 10 easily. He just doesn't do it because he prefers to play however he wants. Shout out to Kevin Durant. He actually he fell. He was the one who dropped out of the top 5. Karl Anthony Towns has been removed from the top 10. He was number 7, removed due to injury. 4 to 6 weeks, grade 3 calf strain. He'll get reevaluated. I'm looking more at the back end plus ramp up time. We could be looking closer to February. Whew, rough, man. Rough for Cat. All right. Top 5. Your thoughts. We'll go to EK first. EK, your thoughts on mine, and what are yours?
I like your top 5. I think it's emblematic of the current sort of times. I know you're big on Tyrese Halliburton, and I'm big on him too. I think it's the first time we've seen a point guard pass the ball as efficiently without turning the ball over in the modern NBA, probably since, if you want to throw in a Chris Paul or a Steve Nash. I'm not saying he's as good as those guys and will be as good as those guys, but the season he's having is very reminiscent of either I think it was the second year that Steve Nash was on the Phoenix Suns. Very, very reminiscent to start off. I don't know if he'll end there, but I think that's a good place to start off. And also, I want to give some love to Jaylen Brown because over his last 9 games, he's been absolutely. I like the fact that you have Jason Tatum in there, though. But yeah, give a shout out to Jaylen Brown. The Boston Celtics have been one of the most consistent teams in the NBA all year. And I think they're going to continue that under Joe Mazzulla, who's doing a fine job in place of Ime Udoka. But other than that, I don't really have any issues with your list, man. Yeah, I would probably agree with it.
All right. We'll go to Jose, who's still stuffing his lunch in because he had to come up here. If you got 5 minutes, or not even 5 minutes, you got 2 minutes real quick, Jose. Your thoughts on the top five and what are yours?
Uh, so I think my biggest gripe is Anthony Davis being there because I think Giannis has still been spectacular this season. So I would put Giannis in there. I have no quarrel with Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese Halliburton has just been putting a great season together. I love what he's doing with the Pacers. I love that he's being looked at as a player you could build around. And I feel like Sacramento just gave up on him too early. For what? They're not making them. Well, I can't say right now they're not making the playoffs. I still think that adding Keegan Murray is detrimental to where they're going to be in a couple of months. But Tyrese Halliburton is just really special, and he should be talked about more. But yeah, my top five would include Giannis, though.
All right. Appreciate it. Micah. Good stuff, Micah, as always. All right. If you want to reply, if you're down below and you want to reply to the HoopSpaces top five.
Oh, hey, Chris, you caught me off guard.
I do that.
Yes, you do. But yeah, I would say I don't have no issues with it. When you put out how it comes about, it's just to me, I've always, whether it's all time or current season, I've always preferred to grade players not on counting stats but impact on winning. And Giannis has close to the same record as the Celtics with Jabon Carter and Grayson Allen in the starting lineup. So, just based off of that, I think he needs to be in there. But outside of that, yeah, pretty much.
Cool. We celebrate also the greatness of Michael Jeffrey Jordan, who on this date, or was it yesterday, scored 30 points to be the second fastest player to 25,000. And that's because Wilt Chamberlain did it in 691 games. Because Wilt Chamberlain, if we're being honest, is the greatest specimen to ever play basketball in the history of the game. Like, seriously, we gotta have this conversation. And all my friends who are Jordan fans totally get it. I like Mike too. It didn't change the game as much as they did for Wilt Chamberlain. Like, Wilt Chamberlain was a monster. Could you imagine a 7-foot, 260-pound person in today's game running like Grant Hill in his prime? Think about that. Anyway, I just wanted to shout that out because, for whatever reason, I can bring up Wilt Chamberlain over Michael Jordan is a win for me. Much like Prince over Michael Jackson, which today, in 1982, Thriller, the album, was released, to which I say, all right. Hey, that went off pretty good. Nobody's complaining. I like it. All right. Next game up, ladies and gentlemen, we will go ahead and talk about these Los Angeles Clippers and Portland Trailblazers. 118-112, your final. The Clippers over the Portland Trailblazers. And much like Doc Rivers, Ty Lue is digging into his bag of potential greatness, whereas Doc Rivers is already great, as once again, he is coaching a Clippers team without Kawhi Leonard and without Paul George. Also, last night, he did not have John Wall. And what did that mean? Well, that meant a lot of minutes for a lot of different people. And shout out to Norm Powell, who had 32 total points, 4 for 5 from deep, including 22 points in the fourth quarter. Robert Covington, 15, Zubac, 12, Terrence Mann, 11, and Reggie Jackson, 24. And Ty Lue has done it again. He's figured out how to get his team moving and playing as a team without its stars. They are on a win streak. And I tell you what, if Paul George comes back healthy, they might actually look at bringing Kawhi Leonard off the bench, because I think what they're running into is a problem that he just isn't going to ever be healthy the way we want him to be healthy. 2-game win streak now. They face Utah tonight at 9 p.m. Buy or sell the Los Angeles Clippers as riding the ship and being a top 6 team in the Western Conference. We'll go to Bakari first, who's getting ready to watch his Boston Celtics take on the Miami Heat tonight. What's up, Bakari? Good morning.
Good morning, man. How you been? How's your day been?
It started out great. I had a pan-roasted salmon with cauliflower croquettes for breakfast. Had 3 great basketball games last night. Got the newsletter out, which, by the way, everybody, if you have yet to subscribe, it's free. All you need is an email. Yeah. Oh, hey. It's dope, isn't it?
I think it's really good.
You never miss a game. Like, if you miss a game, you read it, and you never miss a game. Well, and it's free.
I feel like it's free. You know, it's really good. It's informative. There's some good writers. You know, shout out to the people that write it.
That would just be me.
Oh, shout out to you. Pretty informative. You know.
I appreciate that you think it's people writing it.
I mean, you should get more people to write it. You know, that's just me.
Well, you know, it's funny. Because, like, a lot of people would say they want to write, but then, like, you say, okay, this is what I need if you want to do it, and, like, they don't do it.
I understand.
It's really funny. Like, once you get out of school, like, mandated writing, unless you get a paycheck, just doesn't happen.
I think writing is not that hard, to be honest. I mean, especially especially for something like small, like a basketball game. It's not like you're gonna write about. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's all easy, but, like, you know, it just takes a little bit of effort and time. You know, you gotta put yourself.
Effort and time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually, when you expend effort and time, you get compensated. So that's the problem. So the mandate uncompensated writing, it doesn't happen that often. Like, take fan-sided. Like, they don't really pay anything. Like, you're basically writing for free, but what they allow is you get to say, "Oh, I write on fan-sided," right? Like, that's the trade-off. Like, the people reached out, like, "Hey, do you want to write for us?" Hey, well, is it though? Like, is it really recognition? Like, let's be honest here. Let's be honest. Like, I've been asked to write.
I don't know.
Well, no, I've been asked to write for a site, and I'm sitting here like, "Are you going to pay me?" And they're like, "No," and I'm like, "No." Like, why? When I can just do it myself on my own newsletter,
which is free.
All right. You want to talk anything about last night, or you just want to go into Boston and Miami?
I mean, I didn't really watch any of the games. I was studying, low-key.
Really? You study on a Tuesday? That sucks.
I have a 3.8 GPA. So.
Well, that's good. Shout out to you.
Yeah,
why is it not 3.9?
I mean, it's kind of difficult.
It is. That's not an excuse, though.
But that's the goal. I set bars and set goals for myself. I didn't meet my goal. I have to try again.
You didn't, or you did?
I set a goal for 3.5 and exceeded it.
Hey, congratulations! What'd you get for your reward?
I don't need rewards. I just keep going.
Look at that. The grind never stops. Boston and Miami, 7:30 on NBA TV. I put this out here. Miami can leapfrog the Knicks for the 10th seed with a win against the Boston Celtics. I think this can be a trap game for those Boston Celtics, who are just absolutely lighting it up at 17-4, leading the league. in win percentage, offensive efficiency. I think they're second in defense, coming off a 140-105 thumping of the Charlotte Hornets. They go into a back-to-back in Miami because they'll play them on the second as well before they go on the road on a very tough road trip until they play the Lakers, apparently. So you got Miami back-to-back, and then you have Brooklyn, Toronto, Phoenix, Golden State, and the Clippers. You've been told you have played absolutely nobody so far this season. Your thoughts on tonight's game and your prospect of the not the Clippers, but the Celtics' next 5 games.
The next 5 games for sure are going to be tough because it's going to be a road trip, I'm pretty sure. So, because we've been at home for like 95% of the season, basically. I don't really remember. But the Heat, I saw a tweet by I saw a tweet that's saying that Jimmy Butler is going to be out. So, and a lot of their starters are going to be probable or questionable, something like that. So, I'm not really. I'm gonna say it's gonna be easy W. I don't know, but I just don't want them to play Horford. Please, he's too old. Please sit him. Play Blake Griffin. He's been going off. Just play Luke Cornett or some. Just don't play Horford, please. I know Bam is scary and all, but Luke Cornett can hold his own. We're fine, you know. Jimmy, if Jimmy's out, we're fine. I'm not gonna be too worried. But once Jimmy comes back, that's when this team is gonna be fully activated. You get all the Yu-Gi-Oh trap cards activated and stuff, you know, and stuff like that. So, the next 5, oh my, I'm gonna be really worried about this Nets game because I know KD's gonna come back for his revenge game, you know. So, and
You know, Blake is only 3 years younger than Al, and Al's playing better than Blake.
But can Al jump like Blake?
Can Blake jump consistently?
That's why I want to see it though. I want to see it. He's been doing it. He did it
Do
last
you
game.
do you really want to see Blake jump?
I do. It's very entertaining.
That's just mean. That's very mean spirited.
I like seeing Blake Griffin jump because he's been doing it all his career. I know he's kind of older now, but seeing Al Horford on the court on a back-to-back when we were destroying the Hornets, that was painful. I don't want to see Al Horford be hurt. I don't want to see Al Horford cry.
I want to see Luke
respect my
Cornett.
elders.
That's what I want to see. I appreciate the respect as I am an elder of yours. Luke Cornett is coming on for the Boston Celtics. Like, let's talk about how great Luke Cornett is, the career leader as a block in Vanderbilt University.
I thought Luke Cornett was just gonna be this mean player. Like, if you just play him to play him, you know. I mean, that's what he was most of his career. He wasn't like really known, but I feel like Boston just unlocked this new like piece inside him. I don't know, because like now he's gotten more real recognition as a just a real center now. Like he actually is a real center. Before, I want to say he was a fake center or something like that before, but like he's now like just playable. Before, I really thought when we signed Luke Cornett, I was like, what is Brad Stevens just doing this to compensate for the lack of Rob Williams? I don't know, but I thought it was a really odd move because considering there was Dwight Howard, there was Boogie, like I really thought it was an odd move, but my gosh, Brad Stevens knows what he's doing. He
almost gave you a double double against Charlotte. Gave you 12 points and 2 blocks against Washington.
Yeah. I already signed the Luke Cornett apology letter. I full-heartedly apologize to all the Luke Cornett fans and Luke Cornett himself. You are a real backup center in the NBA currently.
There you go. Look at that. I appreciate the honesty and the ability to admit that you were wrong. EK, your thoughts on the emergence of such a fantastical weapon for the Boston Celtics, and what game are you looking forward to tonight?
So to piggyback off what Bakari was saying, I think when you have players like a Luke Cornett who started off their careers in very subpar to disastrous situations. You got to remember, coming out of Vanderbilt, he was with New York in 17 and 18 and 18 and 19. And we know during that time they were just trash. And then he went to Chicago, and then he was in Chicago for 2 years. Then he went to Boston in 2021. And the problem I have, and this is a bigger problem I have with like front offices and teams who don't know how to develop players properly, who have really bad cultures, what happens is it puts a stain on that player. So as they go throughout their career, there's a certain stigma that gets placed on a player because they were drafted into a situation with a team that may not be the best, right? And until they get in a environment where the culture is positive and you have proper player development and proper game planning and good coaching and good everything like Boston has currently, that's when you'll be able to see that, oh, this guy's actually is a serviceable player. He was just in a really bad situation. The number one equivalent that comes to my mind is Andrew Wiggins, right? Obviously not the same as far as stature and skill, but Andrew Wiggins, before he got to Golden State, was known or was highly regarded as a guy who may be able to give you 20 to 24 a night, but he doesn't contribute to winning. And then he goes to Golden State, and we see what happens. He's probably the second best player on the championship team in the finals, right? And up until this year, even though Golden State's been struggling, he's probably been their second most consistent player. So it just goes to show like environments matter, culture matters, and structure matters. And so for Luke Cornett, I'm just really, really glad to see him doing well. But the game I'm looking forward to is Sacramento and Indiana. I believe they're playing tonight. Yeah, tonight at 10 because of the trade that happened last year, a trade that's working out well for both teams. I think there's going to be a highly competitive game. I can't wait to see Tyrese go back to Sacramento because when we remember the trade happening, he was very, very not broken up about it, but he was kind of dumbfounded as were everybody else as to why they sort of gave up on him. So I can't wait to see what he's able to do against this former team and what Sabonis is able to do against his former team. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah, no, I like the fact that you do highlight that it's the trade that works for both teams. Sacramento 10-9 hosts the 12-8 Indiana Pacers, and I also remember when we were going into the season, a lot of us had the Eastern Conference as the stronger conference, and I'm telling you now, that might not be the case. There is parity across the NBA in its entirety, and it's actually a fantastic sensation because for me, I remember when there was parity of this kind before, and that was after the Michael Jordan era. And then, we had the emergence of the San Antonio Spurs, the Los Angeles Lakers, Kobe Bryant. And then we had a small transitionary period, which was really, highlighted by Doc Rivers' greatness, winning the championship for the Boston Celtics. And then, Steph Curry and LeBron James happened. And now, as we get to the back part of LeBron and Steph Curry's career, we get to see the parity as young players lead their teams like Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, or dogged veteran great coaches like Rick Carlisle, Doc Rivers, leading their teams to above 500 records. It's good stuff. All right, Micah, if you are available, what game are you looking forward to, unless you're taking a night off in celebration of the Dallas Mavericks victory last night? What do you got for us?
Man, I wish that Sacramento and Indiana game wasn't so late. 5 o'clock comes early for me. That's when I have to be ready to leave. So, man, I really don't know. Who else did you say was playing today?
Oh, I haven't given the schedule yet. I'll probably do that after your take. I was just wondering if you had a game that was your eyeing. That's all.
No, not really. Not for tonight. I am ready for that Knicks game on Saturday. Because you know what? I wish we still had them. But dude was getting real snarky. So dude was getting real snarky, liking some Los tweets. So okay, you about to get what you're looking for.
Relax. Like players have to vent their frustrations, and believe it or not, they hear it more than we do. Like people always say to players, "Oh, you should not be on social media. Don't pay attention." It's like it's impossible. It is literally impossible to do this. Like just think about it. You wake up, you play for one of only 30 teams, right? You are one of only 15 players for said team, And usually at that point, you're one of only 8 to 10 people who play. So, like, for 3 hours, you are one of 12 people who are being watched nonstop. And then, because we are fans and we just can't end with the game being over, like, it carries over. And like, they can't escape it. Like, even in a smaller city, in terms of like city proper, like the Pacers can't escape it. Like, they're hounded when they're seen in public because they have fans, and like, if Jalen Brunson wants to get off a couple tweets or like some post, or if Joel wants to troll, if KD wants to snap back on Twitter at somebody, I'm all for it. Like, they're human too. And by the way, most of the time when they do it, it's funny. I'm not gonna lie, it's funny, subjectively funny. KD had one last night telling a Nets fan to stop being a Nets fan because like the dude was crazy, like legit crazy. Anyway, tonight, full slate of games. I mean, there's gonna be so much basketball action that it's going to be rough to put together the newsletter tomorrow with all this great free content recapping the games. But I am here to take that challenge on, and I shall accomplish this task. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 games this evening. That is right. 13 games starting at 7 o'clock. Philadelphia and Cleveland on League Pass, followed by Atlanta and Orlando at 7 on League Pass. Miami and Boston on NBA TV. You'll have Brooklyn hosting Washington, New York host Milwaukee on League Pass. In fact, every game now will be on League Pass until the last one. 8 p.m., Memphis at Minnesota, Toronto at New Orleans, San Antonio, Oklahoma City. At 9 p.m., Houston at Denver, Chicago at Phoenix, LA at Utah. Then 10 o'clock, Indiana will visit Sacramento, and we will close on NBA TV at 10:30 with Portland versus the Los Angeles Lakers. That's a lot of games. I'm not lying. I will probably watch all of the Philadelphia and Cleveland game on a replay because I'll be at my son's swimming. I'll probably be listening and watching to both the Hawks and Magic and the Celtics and Heat first, and then I'll probably watch Philadelphia tomorrow morning. I'll probably watch the offensive possessions of the Milwaukee and Knicks and the Milwaukee New York game and the Brooklyn Washington game. I've got the Knicks losing. I've got Brooklyn winning. I will probably watch the 8 o'clock game between Toronto and New Orleans. I'll probably watch the 9 o'clock game between LA and Utah, and then I'll figure the rest out later. All right, there's your schedule. We got about another 15 minutes into today's show. Programming note: Thursday, there may not be a show on Thursday. And if it's not on Thursday, there might not be a show on Friday. Might have to go do some stuff, unfortunately, at the VA that I have to do during the day. And the only time they have open is during the show. All right. Your thoughts of anything basketball? We've got our top 5, 6-man. We can also talk rookies potentially, as I think the rookie of the year has actually kind of opened since Paulo Banchero was hurt. He has not yet been the dominant Paulo at the beginning of the season. And Benedict Mathurin down in Indiana is wanting to say, hey, not only can I be 6-man of the year, I think I should be rookie of the year. So what do you think in regards to any of the rookies out there, EK, that you are looking forward to as we approach the dreaded rookie wall? 20-plus games in, most of these players have never played more than 33, and we're going to hit 33 come the end of Christmas into January. What rookie has caught your eye, and who are you looking to see improvement from, EK?
So the rookies that have caught my eye, obviously coming off was obviously Paolo, just because going back to the draft when we looked at the draft order, um, Paolo was supposed to go third. He was supposed to go to Houston, and I was very excited about that. But Orlando did a good thing and snatched him at first, and it's paying dividends because before he went out, he was definitely at the top. Benedict Mathurin has just been he's been amazing off the bench all year. I mean, typically the first 5 to 7 games for rookies who are highly touted, who have the ability to score, particularly in bunches, they're going to put up good numbers, but then they'll fall off. But he has been very, very consistent. And I didn't think he'd be consistent through 20-ish odd games in the season. I'm looking to see more though from guys like Walker Kessler, Keegan Murray, obviously Jabari Smith, Tari Eason, and Jaden Ivey. Um, Also, but a guy I think people should probably look out for in terms of rookies who may not be getting the the attention. I think you may have brought him up earlier. Jalen Duren, power forward center for the Detroit Pistons. They're not a good team. They're going to finish at below the standings, but he's an energizer. He's an athletic big who can run the floor, who can finish, who can defend at the rim. And although they're not going to be very good, I think people should really take a look out for him. So if I'm going to do top five, I'm going to go Paolo, Benedict Mathurin, Jay Ivey. I'll probably go Keegan just because I like what he's adding for Sacramento. And then I'll probably go Jabari, just being a homer for Houston.
All right, there's no wrong answer when you want to be a homer here. My top five actually have two Houston Rockets on it, so you should be happy. Paulo Banchero's one, Benedict Mathurin's number two for me, Jaden Ivey is three, Jabari's actually four, and then I have Tari at five. Just outside is Keegan Murray. He missed some time, as did Paulo. And then when he came back, he hasn't shot the same since he came back. Paulo looking to get a little bit better as well. Jalen Williams from Oklahoma City and Andrew Nimhard, also people to keep an eye on. Although I don't think they challenge the top five just because I don't think the minutes will be there long term.
Yeah. In terms of Keegan Murray, so I just want to get this in. He is a winning player. Like I feel like as far as talent wise, as these guys continue their careers, that Paolo may be better, Benedict may be better. But I feel like Keegan is probably going to have the most early season success as far as being on a winning team and in a winning culture. He kind of reminds me a lot of Chris Middleton. Just the way he moves around without the ball, the way he can shoot the ball, his release, his demeanor. He reminds me a lot of him. And if they're able to develop him along with those other guys that got in Sacramento, gotta watch out for them for years to come. They're gonna be really good.
Yeah, his biggest problem is he sucks on the road too. Like, there's no two buts about it. He plays less, but he shoots worse. He shoots 30 from deep and 35 from the floor when he's away. At home, he's actually really good. 51 from the floor, 44 from deep, 15 points per game. He's a scorer, and he needs to be set up. And he's got a phenomenal point guard in De'Aaron Fox. The question that I have though is defensively. He cannot play very well in Mike Brown's preferred system at the four, and the reason why he's not getting a lot of burn, I think, is because you also have Harrison Barnes, and it's going to be interesting to see what Sacramento does because they could walk into the trade deadline as either buyers or sellers, and if we see them sell and trade Harrison Barnes and say Terrence Davis and keep maybe only De'Aaron Fox, the bonus herder. You will see a lot of Kevin Murray, like Keegan Murray. You're going to see a lot of Keegan Murray, and also if you see Davion Mitchell leave, you will hear an absolute cackle of a laugh from me because I thought they did make a mistake in not making Dante DiVincenzo field wanted in Sacramento. I thought if he were able to stay, would have been a real good 1-2 punch with him coming off the bench for either Kevin Herter or De'Aaron Fox. So you'll hear me laugh. And I like Dante. I'm a Villanova fan, so I like Dante, but he had no want or desire to be in Sacramento. All right. Also coming up, let's get in some news and notes across the NBA so we can keep up on the stories that we need to pay attention to. And now is the time that I will talk about my issue with Jason Kidd. My issue with Jason Kidd once again came to fruition last night. To me, at times, he can be extremely self-problematic. He doesn't necessarily see the entire picture, and I think he can get blinders on. And so last night, after another 40-point triple-double, he was asked about Luka's performance, and he says, "It's getting boring. I mean, let's see something different. Maybe do it with his left hand. I'm just joking." And like, I get it because he's in awe of the fantastic play of Luka Doncic. But in my observation of watching the Dallas Mavericks isn't it your job as the coach to kind of make it where you're not relying on a 40-point triple double? Like that's my issue. Like, I'm wondering why the offense wasn't good enough where instead of getting a 40-point triple double, maybe you're getting a 32-point triple double because the offense itself is a little bit more efficient. Christian Wood had he didn't shoot well last night. He was 2 for 8. THJ shot fantastic for THJ, but Reggie Bullock also struggled. Jeff Green was good. Cleveland kind of struggled, but you had 7 minutes of Bertans with a couple of corner threes. And I'm just wondering, like, maybe Jason Kidd can explain and work on getting Bullock more involved and getting him to the spots that he liked last year so we don't have to see this. And I think that is also something that we as fans aren't really assigning the correct blame to, which is kind of this blase, flair here of, oh, it's okay, I'm going to figure it out. I only need X amount of games to figure out the rotations, and then you exceed it. Oh, I'm just joking, but it's serious, right? Like, competition is serious. We don't need you to be a taskmaster. That's what Rick Carlisle was. But there's just some sense of a lack of accountability that I get from him when he makes these comments, and it's annoying for me. EK, your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I'm so glad you brought that up because these are the things that will eventually drive this man away from this franchise, right? It starts with things the coach says, oh, it's boring, do it with your left hand, stuff like that. Then it's going to go into if they continue to struggle for years and years to come. Let's say, you say they're up and down team. Let's say they have 4 more years where they're, first round, second round. Maybe one year they make it to the conference finals again and they get knocked out. And these comments will start to mount and mount and mount to the point where Luka's going to be looking around. He's going to say, yeah, I'm averaging 38 and 8, but I can't trust an individual to shoot over 30% from corner three. A guy in Reggie Bullock is quite literally the worst 3-point shooter from the corners in the NBA this year. I mean, it's laughable, right? And the one thing I think talented guys like Luka and other guys who maybe have been disgruntled by their teams probably can't stand are self-inflicted issues, right? Like, it's one thing where like guys get injured, unfortunate things happen. You got to play with who you play with. But when Jason Kidd is saying stuff like, "Hey, I hope Jaden Hardy really gets to play after averaging 30 in the G League after I haven't played him at all," Luka could really need it, and he's joking about it, and he's joking about Luka, oh, it's getting boring, this, that, and the third. It may be funny now, but in 4 to 5 years, where when Dallas is still stuck in the same position because Mark Cuban would rather be on Shark Tank crying about Warrior stuff, and Jason Kidd is even if he's even still there, will be saying stuff like this. He's going to be like, I'm out of here. He's not going to resign with this team, and then you're going to be left with a barren franchise, and you're going to have to start all over again. So I think the solution is to try to get Kidd out of there. Seriously, he needs to be gone. Honestly, it's so mind-numbingly ridiculous because I can't stand Chris. The thing about me, I can't stand self-inflicted BS, and this is all self-inflicted. All of this could have been avoided. All of it. You're playing Christian Wood. He can't get off the bench. He's possibly your second best player, and he can't get off the bench. And then when asked about it, you have no answer other than, hey, we want to play Reggie Bullock again. We want to start him again, even though he's been dumpster juice the whole year. It's ridiculous to me. And Mavs fans, I get it now. I understand Mavs fans.
So Jaden Hardy on Saturday, 41 points, 13 for 24 shooting, 6 for 11 from deep, 4 for 6 from the line, 6 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 steals in 37 minutes in a loss to the Vipers in the G League. This is the spin, okay? This is the spin. Hardy continues to be one of the best guards in the G League. Hardy's path to NBA minutes just got harder with the signing of Kemba Walker. But the Mavericks will have to at least consider him if he can maintain this level of play. That's the spin. That is awful. And I like Kemba. Like, my man West knows Kemba. Like, Kimba's a good dude. Nobody on this planet dislikes Kemba Walker. But, like, you can't tell me that the dude named Jason Hardy, who just already torched people in G League, circles, in Summer League, and then, I don't get it. But, like, Kemba hasn't done much either. And when you look at the game being what it is, I like the pickup of Kemba. I think he's going to do better than Facu. But, like, get Jalen Hardy minutes. Like, there's a dude, Johnny Davis, who can't get any run in Washington, and he still gets more minutes than Hardy. I don't get it. There's a 23 pick in Memphis who's getting 19 minutes per game. Right? Like, you can get Hardy 10, right? Like, give him 4 minutes in the second, give him like 6 minutes early in the third, or maybe late into the third. Rest Luka or take out Dinwiddie so he can have an additional 3-minute run as the primary ball handler, so you can bring Luka in with 8 minutes left instead of 9. Like, can we try some other things to get other players involved, especially when you have a guy who, even though he's not going to help you defensively, which is probably why he's not playing, is going to help you where you kind of need help, and that's shooting. At least try it. That's just try it. If it doesn't work, it's okay. Send him to the G League, get him the minutes. He's still going to dominate. And then that leads to the other question. If he's already doing this in the G League, what exactly is he developing in the G League? Can anybody answer me that question?
Nothing, Chris. It's a waste.
Like, you're not going to play him at point guard. He's not a point guard. You're going to play him at shooting guard because he's a shooting guard. Well, you send him to G League to get him run, and guess what? He's shooting the lights out. I'm not even a Mavs fan, and I'm upset about that. Like, I watched this Mavs team struggle shooting the ball. And, like, then what everybody should do is spend 30 seconds today to go look at the G League highlights. Because you'll be like, okay, that dude's a legit player. He needs to be playing, but he's not. Buffalo is up here. What's up, Buffalo Soldier? It's been a minute. Appreciate you coming on up. Go ahead and get your final take in because we're getting ready to close the show.
Hell yeah. What's up, Chris? Man? Happy to be here. Happy to be back, man. But yeah, I just hopped in listening, and you were just speaking the gospel on Jaden Hardy, so I just had to come in and add my gospel as well. The other thing about Jaden Hardy that's so freaking confusing to me is that he was on the G League Ignite last year, so the G League is nothing new to him. It's not like it was like, okay, even in the sense of maybe a Jordan Poole or some guy that people try and say like the G League saved his career or whatever. He did this last year straight out of high school, and he played all right. And before he played in the G League, he was the number 2. Like, if you would have went and looked at the draft board before he played in the G League, he was a top 5 pick, stamped, solidified. All he did in the G League was play a little bit better. His shooting splits weren't the best. So he slipped in the draft and the Mavs got him, whatever. He is learning absolutely nothing in the G League right now. All he's learning is that, yeah, I can play. Like, and he knows that. It's not a sense of confidence with him. Jaden Hardy does not lack confidence. He does not think he can't play at an NBA level. He's simply there wasting time. And I think, Chris, you made a good point when he said, of course, he's not going to play point guard. He's going to be shooting guard. And we could use his shooting. The other thing I think we could use is a dude that can actually dribble the basketball and put it in the rim. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, when especially then when he got ejected from the game, we turned the ball over in the backcourt like 2 times because nobody knows how to freaking do a simple crossover and an in and out. Like, the man can dribble the ball, can break down the defense, actually catch the ball in the closeout, attack a closeout, go to the rim, do something. Like somebody that can actually come off the bench and can actually dribble the basketball. And I don't understand how you can't find minutes for him, but you can find minutes for Reggie Bullock to shoot 0 for 4 every single game. Like it doesn't make any single sense to me. And it's starting to make me realize kind of what Milwaukee Bucks fans kind of started to like get upset with Jason Kidd is that he's far too rigid for a team that does not have the talent for you to be rigid with. It'd be something if it was like, okay, I've seen the guys that are playing over Jaden Hardy, or I've seen the guys that are playing over Christian Wood dominate and do this and do that. These are marginal role players, second-round picks that have met their ceiling. These are the guys that they are, and we're not giving a young guy that was possibly the top 3 pick in the draft had he not struggled a little bit in the G League. You're not giving him any run. It doesn't make any sense to me. And unfortunately, I don't think it's going to get any better because Jason Kidd doesn't seem to be taking any accountability, or nobody seems to be questioning him. And, Luka's going to do what Luka does, so he kind of masks some of those deficiencies and bad decisions, man. But I really do want to see Jaden Hardy, man. I thought when they got him, he'd be a perfect replacement for Brunson. But right now he's basically Theo Pinson, which is unfortunate. So I hope he gets to play some, though.
He's played in 3 games. 3 games, total of 10 minutes recorded, meaning he didn't even play more than a shot clock's worth. November the 10th against Washington. 10 minutes played, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 fouls, 2 turnovers. And I'm like, he's not ready. Like, I get it, but like, you can get him 10 minutes. I don't think that's difficult. Micah, real quick.
Yo, real quick, man. I wish Avery Johnson would give him a call and just let him know, hey, dude, I was competitive in the finals in the very next season because I lost the locker room. I got packed up, and I haven't had a head coaching job since. And because to me, that's what I think could possibly happen to Jason Kidd. And I don't care what relationship he has with Cuban. This is one thing that I've noticed throughout the years is the second you lose the locker room on this team, you're gone. You're packed up. I've seen it happen pretty much 3 times already. Rick Carlisle only bought himself more time because they were pretty much a tank team for 6-7 years. As soon as you lose the locker room here, you're gone. That's just what I've noticed over what a 23-year period now. But yeah, that's my take.
All right. Coming out to a bookstore near you, Barkley. That's right. The definitive biography of one Charles Barkley. It's going to it's going to be a read. It will be a book that I actually look forward to reading. I have not really looked forward to reading a lot of books. We have entered a period where a lot of writers who I have become accustomed to are no longer writing. And I have to now get accustomed to other people writing. Timothy Bella is a fantastic writer. I've read a couple of excerpts. I'm going to go ahead and recommend the book on the excerpts alone. I'm also going to recommend it because Julius Erving recommends this book. And in this, people don't understand necessarily part of the history of the 76ers between Julius Erving and Charles Barkley. And I think both of them were actually more similar than a lot of people, and even including themselves, realize. So check it out. Barkley. It's written by Timothy Bella. It's going to be a great read. Down below, I want to go ahead and give some shout outs. My man HoopSpaces Ryan is in the building. Jasmine, again, check her out as the WNBA season nears over at Winsider. JF Cake is up here, getting ready for some Miami culture, taking on Boston today. Shout out also to some random people who I don't necessarily shout out. Leanne, what's up? I see Scotty, Coco, Bianca. I see Fahim for the win. Mackenzie, Damari, a new person, Christian. That's good to see you. All right, that's it. Short show today. I got to get ready for a conference call. See you tomorrow, 10 a.m. right here on Twitter Spaces. And remember, Twitter was supposed to be gone by now. Elon is supposed to have destroyed it and run it into the ground, yet we're still here. If Twitter's pulled off of the App Store from Apple, it'll be okay. We'll just go on Android. If we have to move, we'll move. But I urge you to actually sign up for the newsletter because that'll be the first place you'll find out where we move to. Follow us also on Instagram and Facebook, also LinkedIn. We'll start building up that presence after I spend some money to get one of these social media tools. To that effect, we'll also be getting ready to roll out the actual merchandise. Yeah. Lots of stuff coming, man. It's good stuff. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., full slate of games. It's going to be great. Make sure you go outside, get some sunshine, and watch some basketball. Peace out. See you tomorrow.